Thank you so much for joining me. I have Dr. Michele Kehrer with me today, and we've got a very, I think, just interesting conversation around health and how it really kind of has moved you throughout your life in the different areas of your life. So, thank you so much for being on today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure, Brandy. It's so
Yes.
fun to know you and be with you as well.
Oh,
You are
thank you
such an
so much.
inspiration.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think it'll be a great episode, even for people that haven't battled any health diagnosis. I feel like we always know someone that has gone down this road or a similar path. And so I think it's an easy conversation in the way that everybody can take something from your story, honestly, and listen and really help, even if you're being a caregiver, if you're just a friend or family member trying to figure out how to support somebody down this road. I think that will be a big thing too for listeners. So I'm excited for that part too.
Yeah.
So I think where we start with is your cancer diagnosis. You are a four-time survivor, and I love to say that word survivor because that has a lot of resilience just in saying that word. Being a four-time cancer survivor of breast cancer, you know, I bet every time it came back, you had those thoughts of why me or how am I going through this again? So I think we'll start there. It's talking to us a little bit about how you went down that road of being diagnosed every time and the feelings that surrounded that.
Yeah. Every time brought very different emotions. So the first time, I was 35 and, like, oh, I can do this. And,
Yeah.
this is no problem. I'm a fighter. I got this. And I was really out in the open with it. And I had a physical therapy practice downtown Chicago, and my business had turned a year old, and I was exiting a not so great marriage. And then found out I had cancer all within
Oh
2 weeks.
no.
So, oof. But I went at it with just tenacity and was like, I can do it, no problem. Yeah, I have no idea how to put on a wig, so I cruised around bald and was just like, I'm here. And it was rough because it was like the chemotherapy and the surgeries and things like that. And I had a double mastectomy after the chemo to try to lessen my chances of getting cancer again, right? The
Yeah.
irony of that. So,
Yeah.
um, and then about a year later, or less than a year later, I found out I had stage 4 cancer. So it
Mm.
had come back on my chest wall. And Brandy, that was when I was like really afraid.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my gosh, my hair had just started growing back and my business turned too. And I was like, whoa, like, is this bigger than me?
Mm-hmm.
Could be this be the thing that took me out?
Yeah.
And did almost the opposite. I was very quiet about it. I didn't tell many people. I just had a very silent journey with that. I felt like I needed to go inside and find out, dig deep to
Yeah.
go, what am I really about? What am I really here for? Um, and it was a hectic journey because coming out of chemo and not doing very well with chemotherapy wasn't an option, and so they weren't really sure what to do at that point, so chose to do some radiation, but it had like a bunch of opinions. And so that was the summer of 2009. And when that was finally on the other side of it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
um, and then went 12 years cancer free. You
Oh
know,
wow.
and just like you, it's like in the beginning, one thinks about their diagnosis like all the time, like
Mm-hmm.
almost every day. And then as time goes on, suddenly like a day will go by or a
Yeah.
week will go by and be like, wow, like I didn't even think about that anymore.
Yeah.
So my identity started to shift away from one who is sick to
Mm-hmm.
who am I? And then, okay, now let's blossom. Let's be brave. Let's like really pull out the best in me. Um, and lived large for the most part. But then we slip into other, back to bad habits and patterns and people and things like that. And after a while, like 12, like I said, 12 years passed. And for all intents and purposes, I was out of the woods. But that third time was really probably the worst because when it came back with a vengeance.
Mm.
It had taken over my lung. My right upper lung had collapsed. I had all through my lymph nodes, in my shoulder, all down in my spine, in my sacrum, and then both leg bones.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, when I heard that, I was like, I don't think I will see 2022.
Yeah.
Like, people don't come back from that. That's too big of a diagnosis to come back for. And did kind of the same thing I did with the second round, but even more. Like, very, very much like, get my life in order, get my affairs in order.
Mm.
What is it, if I were to live, what do I want my life to look like?
Mm.
And for real this time. Not like, oh, I'm going to be, talk the talk for and walk the walk for a couple of years, but like, what do I really shift in my life for good?
Mm.
And so I put my physical therapy practice on the market very quietly, and I didn't tell anyone about my diagnosis because I was afraid that if anyone knew that I was that sick, then they would offer me pennies for my physical therapy clinic as
Yeah.
opposed to what I could get.
Yeah.
So I had to be very careful. And at the same time, I was completely out of commission. I remember April of 2022, I had 2 functioning days. Not good days, just like able to get out of bed, get
Mm.
myself some food, and get back. So thankfully, my business and my employees were in a place that they were able to continue to go on, get along, and help it grow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was able to. I was near clearing the cancer when I sold my business in June of 2022, and then I decided, I'm like, I think I'm gonna just move to Florida. Like, I want sunshine 360 days of the year.
Yeah.
I have a dog now. I got a dog. I mean, if anyone would have told me I was going to have a dog and move in Florida and I live in a house, like, this is coming from city girl,
Yeah.
35th floor, like high rise, all living, to a little house, in Florida, I would have been like, you are crazy. But it was the best thing ever. I was able to move down here and kind of just take some time off. And for the most part, I was living like I should. And then still I got back into like, somehow like you ever get just compelled to work or compelled to like
Do
prove
something.
your worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was doing that and then realized, oh my gosh, I found some more lumps.
Mm.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. And when I did that, I was like, okay, really, like a line in the sand. I'm going to stop all work. I'm going to stop all things.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to coexist with it and not be at war with my body, probably for the first time ever.
Wow.
And so we're seeing how it goes. We're walking this path. And,
Yeah.
Every day's a little bit different. Sometimes I have more energy than others, but I'm trending up. And
Yeah.
that's what's really great.
I love the way you explained it, though, of like every time you were diagnosed, it was a different you. Like the first time you're out there and, yeah, I'm going to fight this. And a lot of people probably knew and how it became silent. Because when you battle something like health, like you really don't know how you're going to handle it. You don't know until it happens how you're going to react to it or, just kind of what comes out of that. But it sounds like too, through your journey, you've learned a lot about you.
Yeah.
Like you thought you were the girl that's in the high rise, but you're actually the girl in Florida in the small house with the dog.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that though? Because we all definitely change in different seasons of our life, but I feel like you really committed to understanding you and being okay with a different chapter than something you dreamt of, which I think is very beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here too and just talking to us through this fourth time also, because I think you don't always hear about it from somebody that's in it in the moment and the lessons that they're learning in it. So I think that is very beautiful too. I did have a question about kind of the, it sounded like I think the third time is when you started accepting, okay, this is what I have, and then really dealing with it. Would you say that's true? Was the third or fourth time you kind of started accepting more of it, or did you ever?
Yeah, like both. It was really because they almost there was not a long time in between one and two, and then there was not a long time between three and four.
Mm,
And so I was doing the work of going through three when I was like, okay, I think I'm more grounded now,
yeah.
and I was, and then when I had, found the fourth step, I was like, whoa, like, okay, keep on my path of peace, like read my book instead of my phone,
Yeah.
get out in nature, really hone into the people around me that matter the most.
Yeah. That was my next question, is the mental side of it. Now this is the fourth time. Like, how are you mentally, you described it as becoming one with it instead of being at war with it. How did you get there? What are you doing to get there?
Gratitude is the biggest thing because everyone in the world, sick or not, has a bad day or a
Mm-hmm.
bad week. And the fastest way to get out of it is through gratitude and
Yeah.
take us to like something bigger than us, right? Like, and nature is so amazing to do that because nature doesn't care what the heck is going on. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. And, finding gratitude in the people that are choosing to be around us, finding gratitude in my silly, goofy dog, palm trees, whatever it is, but like, there's always something to be grateful for.
Mhm.
And, there's that old saying that there's always someone better, always someone worse. Like, no matter how bad life is for you, there's people that would be like, I want to be in your life rather than mine.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
so figure out where are the gifts in your current life, in your current situation.
Mm,
Yeah, you can change them and you can want to change them,
yeah.
but where's the beauty of it now?
Yeah, I love that. I think we all need that, and to be reminded of having gratitude for where we are in our life, because it's just so easy to take things for granted. Like having all your fingers, all your toes, having a roof over your head, like the things that we have, it's so easy to take them for granted. For anybody out there that's trying to understand gratitude and how to have that in their life, where would you tell somebody to start?
Um, I always say just get outside, like no
Hmm.
matter where you are, and look at the sky,
Mm,
look at the trees, look at the grass, see the little animals running around, and just see that like whatever feelings we're having, they don't care.
yeah.
So, whether it's raining, I'm grateful that it's raining because now that's going to bring new flowers, or I'm grateful the
Mhm.
sunshine to, warm my skin, whatever it is. When I was a runner for a long time, and whenever I would go running, I would stop and smell every flower. And I would come home and my roommates would laugh because I didn't realize it, but I would have pollen all over my nose and face.
I love that. So it just really sounds like centering yourself and appreciating what's around us,
Yeah.
really.
And,
Yeah.
and if you're in, let's say you're in the middle of like a crazy meeting at work or a Zoom meeting or whatever it is that you can't get out of, just looking around to say like, what is in your space that you can be grateful for?
Mm,
Put a
yeah.
cool background on your computer screen,
Yeah.
water and rocks and mountains, and to remember like, oh wait, it like there are peaceful places more than just where
Mhm.
I'm sitting.
Yeah, I think that's so great for somebody that has a busy life too, and that feels like, maybe work is consuming them more than they want. Just a way to kind of have gratitude and be thankful for whatever it is going on in your life.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about the mental piece of battling any health diagnosis. I want to talk about that emotional side too, because me and you talked before this, but we agreed that you battle it mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Yeah.
And all three, you may have a good time emotionally, but mentally you're not there. You're not so great, and how it kind of just maneuvers day to day. Talk to us about that emotional side of battling breast cancer, and kind of where you are today with it.
I had a great mentor, Jim Dethmer, who wrote about the 15 commitments of conscious leadership.
Mm,
And one of the commitments is feeling your feelings all the way through.
yeah.
Brandy, that's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
When I first started doing the work, I'd be like, he was like, and he nicknamed me Tigger because I'm just bouncy, bouncy, oh, happy, happy. And he's like, Tigger, you gotta, feel your emotions. And I was like, well, that doesn't feel like fun.
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
And then we would do these exercises where you like pull up feelings and start to feel them and go through them. And then I got scared, and I was like, Jim, I think that, how many are there? And he's like, Michelle, have you ever been to a cafeteria where they have those like spring-form plates? You take a plate and another one
Yeah.
pops up. And I was like, yeah, yeah. He's like, well, as many plates as it takes. And I sat there, I was like, well, Jim, I could probably feed like a banquet of, 500 or 1,000. He's like, yep, but that's what it
Gosh.
takes. And just, you don't have to do 1,000 all in one day because you can't, but just choosing. So now if I have a bad day or if I'm sad, I take the time to cry.
Mm.
Yeah. Last night, some silliness is going on in the neighborhood that was getting us all fired up. And we started to get into the negative. And I was like, oh, whoa, time out. I'm like, get up and let's move our body and like use our voices. No words, but you just like breathe it out, grunt it out,
Yeah.
and move. Like swing your arms, jump around, do whatever, to like get that motion out of your body and
Mhm.
really move through. Because emotions can only take about 90 seconds if you let them pass.
Mm.
And it's important because otherwise they build up and they get stuck, and then stuck creates illness or a myriad of other things.
Yeah.
So moving your emotions is number one.
I love that. I mean, that just makes me think back to stress. Like in my life, yeah, help my stress wasn't the reason that I was diagnosed with my blood disorders, but it did not help at all when I
Yeah.
was trying to get on a healing journey of going into remission. But stress is something that I battle, and I bet a lot of people listening to this battle that, or anxiety. That is a big one also. And thinking about getting up and moving your body and releasing it in some way. Like I picture like screaming into a pillow, like whatever you have to do just to get that emotion out and to feel it less. I love that you set that point about it being 90 seconds for an emotion to move through our body. Never
Yeah.
heard that.
Yeah. It's really, if you, whether it's anger or joy or happiness or anger or scare, like it really just takes, if you lean into it and just let it flow, it'll be like super quick.
I love hearing
We
that.
keep it up in our brains. And
Yeah,
when we keep it up in our brains, that's when, oh, that's the danger.
it is. It really is. Talking about, all the changes throughout your life, kind of going back to the mental aspect, there had to be somewhere where you grieved the life that you thought you had, or you grieved what you had before, or what you thought your life would be. Would you say that's accurate?
For sure.
Yeah. How was that
Especially,
process?
yeah, even like knowing the move from Chicago to Florida was good. It was so hard though.
Mm,
I had been in Chicago for 23 years, and you forget, I had forgotten how long it takes to build a tribe. And
mm,
so when I came down to build a tribe, it's not overnight. So one, I was lonely. And
yeah.
then I was sad, and then I didn't really know how to reach out when, I wasn't feeling good. I was like, how do you reach out and say, hey, do you want to hang out? But I might cancel because I don't feel good,
Yeah.
and not wanting to disappoint. And so there was that piece of it. And then there were like all my pretty shoes and dresses that probably will never get worn again, that I was like, I love those. But
Yeah.
also I'm like, it's just a different chapter. It's just a different time. and to be able to say truly goodbye to all of that and lean into who I am now, flip flops
Yeah.
and casual clothes and,
Yeah.
um, find an event to get dressed up to every so often, but really just comfort is where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Oh, you described that so well, especially just the closet and seeing all the clothes. Because I had that same inkling or that same thing happen to me where I remember opening my closet and being like, am I ever going to be able to wear like a cute outfit or go out on a date again? Or am I ever going to feel anything other than this? Yeah. Wow. I love that because I mean, I never thought about that, but I definitely had a flashback to when I thought the same thing and how you're grieving something that once was while trying to appreciate the life that you have now.
Yeah. And the thing that I think keeps me going is like, well, what will the next adventure be?
Mhm.
What will that look like?
Yeah.
Where will I go? What will it take? And that anticipation of a new again.
Mhm. Do you still
Uh,
plan for the future?
yeah, heck
Yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah.
know, um, I was never a big planner per se. Like I would want to be like, hey, let's go on a vacation. And then I would just get up and go. And then we'd get there and it'd be like, oh, I wonder what we should do.
Planning in the
um,
moment.
yeah, and just see where the world takes, which is fun. And yeah, it is different, but for sure, like it takes more effort now that I'm not down the street from most of my friends. So
Yeah.
instead of being able to be like Tuesday, let's go for a walk or whatever it
Yeah.
is, to be like, oh, we actually need to look at calendars and it might be June.
Yeah. It may be a minute.
Yeah.
Talking about the physical side of it, how are you dealing with your diagnosis physically now?
It's it's interesting because it's like I've always working out and like running has always been a big part of my life,
Mhm.
and this diagnosis has brought a lot of fatigue more than I'm used to.
Yeah.
So being okay with hey, today's just a rest day, and I'm gonna need to sleep more. And today I woke up and I did my sauna with my hydrogen machine and my little all my healing stuff. And then I was like, okay, now I need about an hour to sleep.
Mhm.
And just being okay, but and talking about it, like realizing in the past few days, I'm like, I'm thinking I might be able to go back to the gym and maybe just get on the bike for 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I toy with that idea, but I don't make it a mandatory and I don't even put it in a calendar yet because I want to make sure that I'm hearing my body and whatever is good for my body is what I do now.
Yeah, I think it's so important to learn to listen to your body, especially when you're going through like a health diagnosis, but just in general, how would you say you've learned to listen to your body?
Oh, I am like, I will test. I will like. There's a muscle test thing, and being a physical therapist and being all about
Oh,
health,
yeah, yeah.
where I'll like check with my body, like, does this supplement feel good today? Does it feel like I should do these things? Should I not? And then really, I used to be a yes person where I would say yes to absolutely everything, and now I actually slow it down and go, is it really a yes, or am I just feeling
Mm,
like I'm missing out on something?
yeah.
So what really do I want to do? So just a lot more of a like pensive, a lot more quiet, and just listening.
Yeah. What would you say this fourth time of battling breast cancer has taught you about life this time around than the other times?
Oh, I think like the big deal is that everything that I thought mattered, everything that I thought was important isn't.
Yeah.
I spent the summer like go trying to get clients, trying to do the things, and going to networking events and going all here and going all there, and I was like, no, 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 no. Like health is number one,
Mhm.
and me number one. And I realized that I would get up in the morning and I would feed the dog and make sure it's coffee for everyone, make sure all the things were done, and And it was, I would get
Yeah.
to midday before I even thought about, what about me?
Mm,
And now I'm like, oh, why don't I just sit for a minute, have my coffee or tea, whatever my body's feeling like, or just sit, and read out or outside, and then get to the dog and get to everyone else. But the choosing to put myself first is
mm.
so important, and I think as women, it's something that we talk about doing, but rarely do we do it.
Yeah, it's very true. It's something we want to do, but it's not something we're really good at accomplishing. Yeah.
Yeah. I had this woman that I follow who's really, really interesting. And she talks about work life harmony instead of work life balance, which was so interesting in and of itself. But then she also talked about how if she doesn't take care of herself first, she is not going to be good for her family.
Mm,
And so she is like, line in the sand. I'm doing this for me, and then I will get to you. But if you want me to be happy and good and be my best self so I can be my best self for you,
yep.
I need this time. And that the unintended consequences of that is she's teaching her children to listen to themselves and
Mm,
put themselves first and like learn to manage themselves. And so all of this great stuff came from just that small pause of no, this first few minutes in the morning are for me.
wow. Wow. And yeah, they're noticing that too.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
practicing that themselves, like
Yeah.
how cool is that?
Wow. That's so beautiful. It's like, it's a boundary, but it's something that I think we should all be self-conscious of and all think about. Like, yeah, just in my health journey and trying to work and understanding how much I can handle, knowing that I can't put a lot of stress on myself, like trying to understand that balance was hard and a struggle for me. Would you say, did you kind of go through any of that as well?
For sure. And managing my energy. So
Yeah.
knowing, we're taping this later in the evening, and evening is usually might not my strongest time. Like
Yeah.
good in the mornings or good midday. But after 2 o'clock or so, I really start to fade. So in order to be fully present for here, for you, for, or your audience, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to clear my morning and my day really.
Yeah.
I went to a movie with a friend, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like no email, no stress, no other meetings. Because like being with you is what was most important for me today.
Yeah. That boundary is just so needed. Um, do you ever get exhausted? Like, I remember finding myself talking to people, and then, I'll look at my mom or dad, I'm like, I'm tired. Like, it was just having conversations at time when I was sick, and, everybody was so helpful, and you wanna tell them thank you and stuff, but I would get exhausted and
Yeah,
just have to go home. Do you have kinda that similar thing?
for sure. Or I'd be like, I'm like, okay, this has been great. I gotta go now.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Like,
lay
it
down
hits
now.
you.
It's
Yeah,
not personal. Like this is
exactly.
my body being like, my battery just dropped to empty. It's kind of like,
Yep.
your phone, you're going along, your phone's all great. It's all, and then all of a sudden you're at like 2%. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
my body just went to 2%. I can be back in a little bit, but right now I need to,
Same thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I had that same thing when you were talking about, today and just kind of making it getting ready because you had this later on in the evening. That just made me think like, I wonder if like that social battery. I remember being wiped out just talking to one or two people and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like my body is tired just from talking. Yeah.
yeah.
Talk to us about that rest because like you said, and I agree 100% is when you need that rest, learning how to take that time for yourself. When you feel the fatigue, like how does that look for you today?
Um, I can go from, we were out at, you know, socializing with some friends the other day. We're over at a friend's house. And for me, it can gradually come on, or it can be like done.
Mm,
It can go either way. And often what I'm really is that I'm kind of going back and thinking about it. I'm like, oh, there was signs that I was starting to lose steam that I
yeah.
ignored. And when I ignored, my body's like, nope, and now you're really,
Yeah.
really done.
I feel like your body will do that. It's like,
Yeah.
nope, nope. I'm in control. Like this
Yeah.
is what you want to do.
And choosing to listen and not like push through, because then
Yeah.
it's like probably you experience like when you push through, your body will then go, okay, well, 2 to 3 days of nothing now.
It's like you had one day, but now that you did that,
Yeah.
we're adding extra days on. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you plan to rest? Like, what do you do when you rest? Are you just on the couch or watching a good movie? Like, how do you rest in your daily life?
I think it all is it different. It all varies. Sometimes I can just watch a movie, and sometimes that's even too much, and of
Hmm.
like that stimulation, because it's like if it's a exciting movie, I'll get to the end of it and go, that wasn't restful at
Yeah.
all. I have gone back to picking up books and just reading a book and
Yeah.
putting my phone away. You know, not
Yeah.
just like sort of away, but like putting it away, putting it on airplane mode, turning off, you know, all the notifications. And, or just, you know, today I just went and lied down for a little while. I was like,
Mhm.
and my little sweet dog came and like put his little head on my shoulder. I said,
Oh,
my buddy.
that's so cute. How has your dog been through this whole thing for you?
It's interesting because he is a golden retriever and collie mix, so
Oh,
he
wow.
has more energy than I know what to do with. But he's figuring it out too. Like when I'm like, buddy, I just can't right now. He'll
Yeah.
be like, humph, but then he'll snuggle up with me.
Yeah, I have a Labradoodle. He's
Oh,
4, and yeah, that energy is there. Yeah.
yeah, Mike's 4 as well. Like
Yeah,
where you're like, yeah, you're not gonna get out of puppy stage until like 7 or 8.
exactly. And he does the same thing where I'm like, okay, I can't play anymore. He does the same thing. He's like, he does like that breath, and he's like, okay, then he'll go
I know.
plop down somewhere. Yeah.
Aren't they so cute and dramatic?
So cute. Very dramatic, but the best animals. I love dogs.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about your business shift to success. I want you to explain it to us, but also take us through like how you started this business and why it means so much to you.
Yeah. So after I had my physical therapy practice, I sat back and was like, okay, what did I love about my practice and what didn't I?
Mm,
What are the things that if I could like package something up, there were only things that I truly, truly loved, what would that be? And I was like, okay, number one, working with people. Love working with people.
yeah.
Um, and I loved developing people. So my practice, it was a teaching practice. So we had interns and students and volunteers and like you name it. It was like,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it was like, this is a learning lab for life.
I love that.
So we took in everyone. And I'm like, okay, I love developing people. I'd have my interview with even just someone who's going to volunteer for 90 days. I'd be like, all right, well, what are you going to teach me in this 90 days? You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you, but what are you teaching me? So we have this dynamic of like collaboration together. And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I like that. And then I wanted a little time out from employees. I think I just want to work with people, not people working for me. So I came up with the with coaching. So consulting is when someone goes in and has all the answers, right? A consultant comes in with all the end, but a coach comes in and just asks questions and
Mhm.
sits with you in how do you want to develop this?
Yeah.
Whether it's your game or your life, you know, your business, whatever it is. And I love just asking questions and being in curiosity. So I really chose a path where it's not just healthcare, it's anything, anyone. A friend's mom right now is like, I want to start anew. And she's 79 years old and she wants to figure out
I
what
love that.
she's going to do. And so we play together and talk about it and like help her develop a plan and help it come to real life. Um, and that's kind of where my book fell in line too. And because I looked at like the whole thing of life, it's like, where do we always usually get stuck?
Mhm.
And in, the New Year's resolutions is a perfect thing to talk about. Is at the in December, everyone's like, "Oh, I got to make the laundry
Yep.
list of things that are wrong with me and wrong with my life." And I'm like, don't do that. That's too mean. Don't be
Yeah.
mean to yourself. So I'm like, pick one or two things and know that changing a few things can change everything.
Mm.
And so create small habits that will create massive change.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we do. So if someone's like wants to have 1 million things that they want to change, I'm like, nope, you just get to pick one.
Yeah.
And then we're going to make very, very consciously, what are we going to do every day to make that one thing happen?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
it's
love
fun.
that. Give us an example of one small thing someone could change and how it could impact their life.
Well, what's one thing for you? Let's just play a game.
Oh, okay. I would say I want to be more consistent with something that I start. That's really, it's been my word. I didn't do goals. I just did like a word last year and this year. So being consistent. Yeah.
Okay, what does consistent mean to you?
Consistent means to me is if I start something, not just stopping dead in the middle of it and not having a reason. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah, for sure. Now, one of the things is what you said was I want to like not stop dead in the middle without having a reason. Well, being consistent is great, but what do you want to be consistent at? Like, what's
Mm,
one thing you want to be consistent at?
I want to be more consistent at just staying like in contact with friends and family. I'll say that. Like that's a hard thing for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm good at it, but I could be better, you know?
Okay. Now, does that mean every day or once a week?
Oh, I would once a week for sure for me. Yeah,
Okay.
I could do once
And
a week.
is it a phone call or is it an email or is it a handwritten letter?
I would say phone call. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your planning, literally pick up your phone or whatever calendar you're using
Hmm.
and put an appointment on your phone that says call a friend.
Mm.
And then if you want to really challenge up, pick your friend.
Oh, I love that. So it keeps me
And
accountable.
yeah, and then it's going to bing and you're going to be like, oh, oh yeah, okay.
This is the time. Yeah. And pick a
Yeah,
time that works for me. Yeah.
yeah. And then for extra credit, why do you want to stay in contact with them?
Because those relationships to me are just so important to have, but to just to like know what they're doing in their daily life. There's so many times where you lose touch with some of those friends, and to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. And what does it mean if you don't?
Over time, I will say if I don't do that, I feel like I lose contact. I lose knowing about their life and what's been going on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in order to stay connected and know about people and have them know about you, you're going to commit to one phone call a week.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And doesn't that feel doable?
Very doable. Yeah.
Because when you just said I want to stay, I want to commit to something, but you didn't have the emotion in it, and then the exactly what you want to do and the why you want to do it, then you get to a week later and go, oh shoot,
Mm, yeah. My why. Yeah.
yeah. And like it's even if you did something like I want to keep my closet organized, like, well, why? What is the well? I mean, it looks nice. Okay, cool. But then you go like, if I go deeper, I want to be like, I get really frustrated when I walk in my closet and I can't find what I want to wear.
Yeah.
And so, all right, well, if I take an extra few minutes when I'm putting my laundry away to keep my closet clean, every time I walk in, I'm going to know what I have that's clean. I'm going to know where it is, and it's going to make getting dressed easier.
Yeah. That why behind why you're doing it.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. Yeah. That's definitely been my word this year, and last year was just or is consistency and being more consistent in whatever it is I'm doing. But that is a great way to do it.
Yeah. So
I
the
love
why
that.
and then the emotion around it. How
Yeah,
will
it
you feel
helps.
if you do it? And then how do you feel if you don't do it?
Yeah.
And then
And
you
you
can always put a post-it note on your mirror or
Mhm.
on your computer screen or wherever that goes, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a Post-it note girl. I
Yeah,
probably have too many.
it's
I'm a
not possible.
Post-it note right? You're right, I'm a Post-it note girl. Yeah, that's a good idea too, though. What would you say you said you teach this to anybody in any area of their life, correct?
Yeah.
So do you teach, like, anyone that may be going through a similar path as you, health-wise?
Yeah, it can be anything. And usually it's what's really fascinating is a lot of people think that, oh, well, I have to be going through this in order to be relatable to anyone or to
Mm,
whomever. And it's actually the opposite. It can get five people in a room that all have one thing they want to work in.
mhm.
And almost always, every single person have a different thing to work on, but they're going to have the same challenges.
Mm, that's interesting.
We're not as unique as we like to think we are.
I was about to say, we're there's a lot of things that I feel like we all experience individually, but we think we're the only one going through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see that. I'll like watch like videos or funny videos or things on social media, and like you'll read the comments and they're like, that is so relatable. Or I thought I was the only one that went through that, but you're right. We
Yeah.
all kind of experience or have similar thoughts and different things we've gone through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your book, Brave Shift, and why you wrote this book.
Oh, it's a fun one. Oh my gosh. It took 10 years to write. My goodness gracious.
Wow.
um, the why that I wrote it, I didn't think anyone would want to hear anything I had to say. But over and over and over, friends and people that knew me would be like, no, you really, really, like, really, really, like,
Yeah.
what you have to say matters.
Yeah.
So, like, just get it down. And so I would start to write and then I'd stop and I'd start to write and I'd stop. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. And back to after I sold my business of like, what did I learn about all of this?
Mm,
And how I work with people and how I did my business is we would always do what did we do well and what could we do better? And then I was like, okay, so what in life, what did I do well and what could I do better? And in that came a whole series of stories, the good, the bad, the tragic, the hilarious,
yeah.
um, that were like, okay, here's the story from my life. And then here's how I got myself into or out of it. So like one of
Mm.
my chapters, it's either a good time or a good story. So I would
Honestly,
go
yeah.
on every single blind date that I was ever set up on because I was like, why not? And almost always it came out to be a good story.
Yeah. Good time or good story. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
totally right. I love that.
And it's
Um,
just a lot of little things like that.
yeah, yeah. I also want to talk about at the end of each chapter, you said that there's a prompt or something someone can take from the chapter. Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's all about the concept of like small habits can create massive life changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can open the book, read a chapter, do like just go, I'm going to work on this one thing. I'm going to work on this one thing this week, this month, and suddenly you're going to reclaim control of your life.
Mm,
Things have shifted for the better. You'll find calm in the chaos. All of a sudden you'll be like, oh, sitting in action was intolerable and now I'm actually doing things and what fun is this?
yeah. Yeah. It sounds like it also just creates some type of positive change in your life. But I also feel like it opens up and unlocks another chapter of you, which essentially goes back to what we talked about with your own self and your journey, as well as every time you had that diagnosis, I feel like you unlocked a different chapter of you. Would you say
Yeah.
that's kind of why you decided to write the book?
Oh, I've never put it like that, but yeah, I like that. Heck yeah.
It sounds like it, like you have just learned through your own change, and you've had some big shifts in your life. They weren't small, but at the same time, how it became so important to you, it sounds like, and it just kind of made you who you are today. And I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. I mean, writing a book, like you said, I think I've heard that. I've interviewed other people and they've said the same thing of why would anybody want to read my book? Why does anybody want to know about me? But in the other side of things, yes, people do want to know more and to really understand how you've gotten through what you've gotten through. And I think your story is so interesting because 4 times you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, and to have the bravery and the courage to fight this each time, I mean, that in itself is just amazing. And for me, it just shows like how much we as people can actually go through things. Yes, we shouldn't go through them, but you just have so much strength to have gone through that 4 times. So I think it's awesome to see where you are now, you know? Do you ever think back from where you were before to where you are now?
Oh my gosh, and yeah, and like unlocking more of myself is a great thing. I'm gonna use
Yeah.
that. But yeah, the way that I used to think, like we all have our little like how we think. We think like, oh, I was very regimented, and I thought like here's the way it
Yeah.
is, and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. And then life has a way of going, ha ha ha,
Yep.
not so much.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really does. Life really deals you hands that you never thought. Um, but, and I wonder if you feel this way because both times that I was diagnosed with my red blood disorders, I remember like being like, I did that. Like, I overcame the mental stress and how hard it is to mentally go through that. Do you ever give yourself praise for that?
Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember like there was when I was going through chemotherapy, I had an office manager. Her name was Alma, and her daughter, she had a daughter. She was a single mom, and I would feel terrible. It'd be like after chemotherapy, and I'd be wiped out, and I'd just be laying in bed, and I'd be like, okay, get up, because if I don't get up, I won't have a business, and Brandi won't have food on her
Yeah.
plate. Like
Yeah.
I had to. I didn't have the why within me yet, so I
Mm.
had to figure out the why. In it was her daughter that
Oh,
I was like that's how I'm going to get through this today.
so
And that's why there's like 30 shift moves in my book, right? Because it's like it it's not a one size fits all. Like
no.
not it's different days are going to take different tools.
It's very true, yeah. And the why, my why was my family. Like that was the reason that I kept fighting. And even though those days where it gets hard and you see these people over here that are encouraging you and wanting you to get better. In my mind, I was always like, how can I give up? Like, there is no way. Like, I'm not fighting for me. It got to the point where
Yeah.
I was like, I'm fighting for them. And
Was there someone in particular that you were like they were the ones that were one of the top on the list that kept you going?
I mean, it would be my parents. It would be my
Mhm.
mom and dad. I mean, I was 19 the first time I was diagnosed. So, I always think like how that's just probably something they never imagined would happen to their own child. And if I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for them. And, being on every prayer list and having all these people come up to you like, I've heard about you and, we're praying for you, I don't think people understand just those few words of how, for me, it really helped me to keep going, especially on
Yeah,
those really bad days. Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. How would you describe it for you?
Um, it was definitely the people that showed up for me, and I always just admired them so much
Hmm.
because I kind of didn't have a choice. I mean, it was either get through this or die.
Yeah.
But those that chose to keep coming back and coming around, I was like, wow, like you have an actual choice to show up and you keep
Yeah.
showing up.
Yeah.
I think that, I would tell them, like, I think you're braver than I am, honestly. Like, I just am
Yeah.
doing what I have to do. You're choosing to be with me even when I'm suffering. And
Yeah.
how beautiful is that?
I
And
know.
people are such a gift. Oh my gosh.
The human connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. And you hear people say it all the time, but to experience it from that side that you've experienced it, there's just something about it. And those are probably stories you will never forget. of
Yeah.
things people have done for you at those times.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been such a great conversation. I really want to leave listeners with just some kind of hope. Um, I know you and your journey, you're in it now, and I think this is when I feel like you are more just alert and knowing more about life when you're in something, you know? What do you want to leave listeners with as far as something they can take from your story and apply it to their own life or just to think on?
Yeah. Um, they're not alone.
Mhm.
They're not. Like this, it's just don't be afraid to ask for help. And
Yeah.
if someone says no, that's okay. You know, it's not a personal thing. Just keep asking.
Yeah.
Um, and if you really, if you don't know anyone, just go to my website and leave me a message. Like I answer every single message. Like, don't be alone. You know, there's no need to, like, suffering is a choice. Struggle is real.
Mhm.
And so, you know, stay in the woe is me as long as you need to, but really do your best to get out of it as quick as
Mhm.
possible so you can start living.
Oh, I love that. Suffering is a choice. Struggle isn't. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Michele Kehrer. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. This is
My
awesome.
pleasure.